Okay, we are going to do an experiment with poured painting today. Here I have ready mixed some tempera or poster paint, so I'm just using this. I've mixed it up with some PVA medium and just a splash of rubbing alcohol. So these are the things that I'm using. So I've mixed most of them up already. I just want to mix up the last one. I've got a couple of, you can see I've got a few different colours. So into the blue, this is the blue poster paint. I'm just adding the PVA glue and give that a little mix. The glue will help the paint to bind a little bit better. Okay, it's fairly thick, but it's still drippy and runny, and that's kind of what you want. And then I'm going to, okay, so I'm now just going to add a splash of alcohol, really just a little teeny bit, just to help it along a bit. Now, please notice that the setup for this, I've got the paper. I'm actually going to work just directly onto painting paper today because it is an experiment. But we're working with very fluid mediums here. The idea is that we're going to pour the paint in order to create the artwork. So underneath I've got brown paper that will catch all the runoff, and even underneath that I've got plastic as well, just to keep the area cleaner. The reason I've got it on paper also is that when I move it, then I don't have to lift up the paper. I can just transfer the whole brown paper all together onto the drying rack. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to start off with the darkest color, that's red, and I'm just going to pour it on here. I really don't have much of a plan here. And if there's a particular area you want the paint to go in, then you can of course do that. So if you wanted to, you can tilt the paper. See, so it is flowing, but really quite slowly. To be honest, I probably got a little too much paint on here. It's going to be very, very thick, but that's okay too. So you might want to think about which direction you want your paint to flow. I'm going to add in a little more now. Now I'm doing this onto a plain background, but there's no reason you can prepare, you couldn't prepare any kind of background behind this. Wait for that background to dry and then add the poured paint effect. So I'm going to add a little bit of white now. I think the white isn't quite runny enough, but that's okay. So starting to get some really nice effects. The paints, some parts they are mixing a little bit, some parts they are not. And when you're happy with the effect and the shapes and the lines and the swirls, then you can stop. If it goes off the edge, that's okay. That's why the brown paper's here. So the idea here is that we are doing poured painting, but I honestly don't see, there's no reason why you can't manipulate it a bit. I've got a little barbecue stick here, and you can drag depends on the effect that you want to achieve. And you can actually, can you see here that the red from the first pour is coming out underneath as I'm scratching through. I'm actually rather enjoying that effect. So play around with layering. Okay, I'm now going to put that straight onto the drying rack. Might take a day or two to dry. Let's see the results.